Hello everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand. Welcome to another video. It's worth reminding ourselves about where we were exactly a year ago. Now I know a lot of you have followed me for some time and you know my own personal story, but I was in a position a year ago, an impossible position, where I was getting ready to leave my state. I would have even left the country. I would have left the United States if it came to that, over the issue of unethical mandates. I believed so strongly in the principle which was being breached by these unethical mandates. Not only were they unethical, but they were also unscientific and completely illogical. So to back up then as to my own story, I've been a doctor for a few years. Over the years, pre-2020, I've received just about every recommended jab. I've also administered many jabs myself to patients over the years. I came down with the virus. Thankfully, it was a very mild case. And afterwards, I was regularly checking my own antibody levels, which were sky high. So I obviously had done a lot of background reading myself, and I had decided that for myself personally, it was not the right decision to go ahead and receive the jab. I did that based upon my own medical knowledge and my own personal knowledge as well, and I know my own body. Now, unfortunately, there are many people out there, including some doctors, people in my own profession, who think that somehow me saying this is me telling everybody not to take it. That's complete and utter nonsense. I don't know why we have so many binary thinkers in our profession who don't seem to understand that the practice of medicine is about individuals. It's about everybody making their own health decision. There are a lot of nuances in medicine, and there's often more grey than black and white. So I had these concerns. I also had some other unique personal concerns. Thankfully, common sense prevailed in the end, and I didn't have to leave my state or leave the country. But I was in that impossible position, and I went through weeks of stress, obviously, over this. That should never have happened. Now, I am a doctor who specializes in metabolic health and lifestyle medicine. I am meticulous about what I eat every single day and put into my body. I work out every single day. The notion that I wouldn't want to do something, whether it's a drug, therapeutic, an injection, which I thought would benefit me, is complete and utter nonsense. My life and my career is dedicated to health. Obviously, if I thought that for myself personally, the benefits would outweigh the risks, then I would go ahead. But I knew that for me personally, again, I'm not saying that for anyone else. Everybody else is a unique individual. It was not the right decision. Neither did I believe that it would help anyone else. I also love my family members as well. I don't want to put family at risk, but I knew that it wouldn't have made any difference. Encouraging people to take a medical therapeutic, having a jab program, is not the same as a mandate. They are two completely separate things. And as far as I am concerned, mandates are unethical and they breach the principles of the Hippocratic Oath, informed consent, and bodily autonomy. They are wrong, and I stand like a rock on that issue. I'm not even willing to debate it with any medical professional. That's how I feel about mandates. And I took this strong stand on principle because for me, it was a very serious issue indeed. I am a doctor with years of experience. If I can be put in a position where the government, bureaucrats, are making me take something which I believe is not going to benefit me, then what comes next if I allow that to happen myself? So that's why I was ready to take drastic measures and leave my state or even leave the country if needed. On another note, there are many reasons why I may take any medical therapeutic, but a 22-year-old with blue hair waving a placard isn't one of them. And those are the types of people who, when I was talking about it, were actually piling on me the most, as if I would take medical advice from them. I mean, come on. Then you have all of these people out there who say, well, a year ago, we didn't really know what was happening. That is a complete load of baloney, as you say in the United States. We knew how this was going to pan out. Those of us who actually understood the reality of the situation, who actually read scientific papers, we were dealing with an easily transmissible respiratory virus, one which was rapidly mutating. And I'm sad to say that even many medical professionals, when the therapeutics came out, didn't read the studies. If we had done our job as doctors, and actually many doctors may still not have read the studies, but if you actually go back and read the studies from the end of 2020 and you actually tear apart the data, you pick apart the research as we are supposed to do as doctors, when you look at statistical concepts like absolute risk reduction and number needed to treat, it was bloody obvious how this was going to pan out over the next couple of years. Nobody should have been under any illusions whatsoever. And in our profession as doctors, we are there to do just that, to really scrutinize data, to not go with the big pharma and mainstream media talking points. I cannot believe that that actually happened. It was a failure on the part of the medical profession, and as a result, we were not entirely honest with the general public about how things were likely to pan out. Then you have headlines like this, which are now appearing. Take a look at this here in The Atlantic. Let's declare a pandemic amnesty. We need to forgive one another for what we did and said when we were in the dark about the virus. Amnesty and forgiveness? No way. Why do I say that? I'm not being harsh here, but I really mean it, because to me, forgiveness is something you do when people repent and apologize. But as far as I can see, many of the same cheerleaders for prolonged lockdowns, for school closures, for masking toddlers, for these unethical mandates are still there. Heaven forbid this happens again. All those players are still on the field. It is not enough to ask for amnesty. These people have to apologize for what they did. This whole situation was also a big eye-opener to me as to the difference between different countries. Now, obviously, I live in the United States, but I'm from the United Kingdom. I follow the news there very closely. I went to medical school in the UK, still have a lot of friends over there. But in the UK, the authorities there did toy with the idea of mandates. But in the end, they didn't go ahead in the major health service. And a lot of doctor organizations in the United Kingdom actually pushed back. If you look at the news, many of them said that these mandates were unethical, the same as I am saying now. The United States, however, was very different indeed. Our medical authorities and physician organizations completely rolled over. They offered no pushback whatsoever against the government, and taking a strong principle, saying that for very obvious reasons, it's okay. Remember, there's a big difference between having a jab program encouraging people to take a medical therapeutic and mandating it. They are two separate things, and mandates were appalling. They should never have happened. And as a consequence now, we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Trust has really been lost in public health institutions. But again, coming back to the point, it was a big eye-opener to me. And I really thought that US medical authorities and physician organizations showed their complete cowardice and weakness in terms of not standing up for the principles of the Hippocratic Oath. Because I obviously know, because I work around a lot of these people, that many doctors had deep reservations about mandates, but yet the authorities still pushed ahead with no pushback whatsoever, when it was doctors who really could have pushed back and said, it's fine, we'll encourage uptake, but we will not mandate it. That would have been the right and reasonable thing to do. So as for me, as for this physician, thankfully now, November 2022, the world is putting this behind us. This nightmare appears to be mostly in the rear view mirror, but we mustn't let it happen again. And I can tell you that for my career and my lifetime, I will neither forget nor forgive.